Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CloudStream, your go-to podcast for everything you ever wanted to know about going to the cloud. In this series of 6 episodes, we bring you expert insights, real-world examples, and tips to navigate your cloud journey with confidence. I'm your host, Riz Haque from CGI Global Intellectual Solutions and Innovation. Today, we're talking about Smart PMO. Joining us today, Petri Pekkarinen, a senior cloud advisor from CGI Finland, and also known as a guru on his own field when it comes to Smart PMO. I'm so glad to have you here, Petri.
It's great to be here, Riz.
Would be great if you could tell a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, 20 years in the IT industry, 7 years focusing on the cloud computing and working as a cloud advisor in multiple different cloud and transformation projects. And in personal life, yeah, I have 4 daughters, so they really keep me busy.
All right, you've been busy. Okay, I think if we start to talk about it, I think it's going to take the whole time of the show, right? Obviously, you have a hands full. Right. We all know about PMO. Tell us, Petri, that what makes PMO a smart PMO?
Right, yep. Okay, so the difference between PMO and a smart PMO practically is the fact that with smart PMO, you're dealing with real-time analytics, real-time data, real-time visibility on the performance of your project and really having the constant understanding where are you going with your project. And that's a really big advantage for your business.
For sure. Yeah. When you say real-time, what are usually the typical use cases in terms of collecting the data and how you are actually interfacing that with the end users?
Yep. So obviously, PMO can run multiple different types of projects, but if we focus on the cloud transformation projects in this case, I guess if you think it from the perspective how we have been doing the cloud transformation projects, let's say a year back or so, not so long time ago, in fact, the projects tend to lag behind, and they tend to be either under-resourced or over-resourced, or the project is not run well. You have a limited visibility on what are the problems, what are the issues. If something breaks, then you immediately have a significant issue in your hands because
for sure
you're actually moving your applications from the on-premises to the public cloud. And if something breaks in between, then you are in big trouble. So with Smart PMO, we can make sure that our customers have a full understanding of the transformation project constantly, not just like let's review on day-to-day basis where we are, but they can actually go on in the evening and check the dashboards and see where we are and what's the situation of the project.
And that definitely helps also. I would imagine that something to do with the forecasting and something to do with how people are managed on real projects and things like that. Yeah. Do you see any sort of involvement of artificial intelligence in all this?
Oh yeah.
When you are especially thinking around the prediction part?
Yep. Yeah, it's absolutely based on the machine learning and artificial intelligence. First of all, to actually collect the end-to-end data from overall infrastructure, all the resources that you have in your IT infrastructure and get full visibility out of it is not done manually, obviously.
Right.
You're utilizing artificial intelligence to collect that data.
If I'm thinking first maybe globally, would you have any sort of thoughts on how much of an organization are now moving more towards to the smart PMO versus the traditional PMO?
Many of our customers in Finland already are using some sort of monitoring. Either it's for your on-prem infrastructure, your public cloud infrastructure,
or data dashboarding, as you say.
And data dashboarding as well. But the matter of fact, they are operating in silos.
Correct.
And what we want to do here is to break the silos and bring full end-to-end visibility on everything that they have in their infrastructure, and a really deep dive into the project scope that they want to move to the cloud, like workloads and applications. So it's really a big advantage compared to the way that we used to run projects in the past.
Yeah. And if I would be the decision maker in that sense, would I need to engage myself before kicking off the whole PMO, or would that be possible to transit myself from a traditional PMO to a smart PMO?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's mostly about tooling, really, and really understanding that what are the capabilities with the modern tooling that we have in place.
Yeah.
And if you consider from the executive level perspective, like what are their targets? Obviously, they have the business targets, they have the IT infrastructure targets, and overall they need to run the project smoothly. And this is all about tracking that budget, keeping the cost in control, and not get surprised because of the delays or anything that might happen in the during the process.
Petri, in today's world, we see many of the organizations are obviously full-blown engaged on a traditional PMO.
Right.
They might want to transform themselves to a smart PMO.
Yeah.
Do you advise them to go to this transition even when they have started with the traditional setup? And if so, what are the considerations they need to make in order to call them a smart PMO eventually?
Yeah. You know, Riz, that's an excellent question, actually. I love that question. If you are in project mode already, so what we can do is to look into that. Like, if it's going well, no reason to change things, obviously.
Right.
But if you have challenges, if you have trouble understanding like how we are going going forward, how is our resourcing? Do we have too many people in the project? Do we have resources?
Yeah.
Do we need to do something about it? If these kind of things matter to you, then we might consider actually bringing in the view of Smart PMO.
Well, in that case, have you come across to any of, let's say, any projects in Finland that they might have started with a traditional PMO setup, but then shifted more towards to Smart PMO?
Not too many. Like, I think many of our customer organizations, they have capabilities in place. They have tooling in place, but they don't necessarily fully realize that they could do more with what they already have.
Why you think that our business, or the people, the decision makers in the company, on the organization would not take the advantage of moving more towards the Smart PMO?
I think it comes down to the software licenses costs. Of course, if you want to do things smarter, you want to be more efficient, you want more transparency, then you need modern tooling for it. And it comes with a cost, but then, you know...
It's the business case question at the end of it.
It's a business case question, yeah.
All right. All right. And you personally, or your team that you've been working on, have you engaged yourself in the recent past that where you actually helped understanding that what would be the impact versus the investment?
Yeah. So actually, that's an excellent question. We are currently in discussion with the Finnish bank to actually run the project with Smart PMO, and they're very excited about the idea. Like, they are a kind of really typical type of financial industry customer that they have been doing the same things for 20 years, and they have done things in silos and so forth.
Sure.
But moving forward, they really want to get to full visibility on what's going on in their industry.
All right, so what you're saying, Petri, that any organization could start mean and lean, and as they grow forward, when their KPI is hitting the target, they can actually go for the big push.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. This is the recommendable way of moving forward. Don't push too hard at the beginning.
Sure.
Don't push your organization too much at the beginning, but move gradually forward when you have, let's say, steady feet.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly how we like to see things moving, right? You want to give yourself a belief that you're looking for the numbers that you're.
Yeah.
But even doing so, sometime, if it's not very often, we also fail.
Yeah.
And I think that is happening more or less every now and then.
Yeah.
Would there be anything that you like to kind of reflect on? What do you call it? Maybe could have done better, or something that you have experienced yourself that work for you now more of as a lesson learned?
Yeah. Yeah. I think several large organizations have failed in the cloud transformation because they wanted to do big bang push right from the get-go, and basically they over-resourced.
Right.
And they had, big teams from the beginning, and really started pushing too much already at the beginning, and then they failed with the budget.
Sure.
They failed with the time management of the project, and they also failed in terms of the change management. And then basically they needed to cancel the project and start from the beginning again, like with more experience and learnings.
Right, right. And that happens, of course, every now and then.
Yeah.
For sure. We talked quite a lot about the internal factors that you need to take under the consideration when you're actually moving towards to the cloud transformation. But would there be something, as you want to call it, external factors that we like to take under the consideration when we are actually doing the planning for the cloud transformation, moving towards to the Smart PMO? And if so, what would be those external factors?
I don't know about external factors, but if you consider it from the perspective that in a large organization, the IT landscape is very complex, and you actually need to have a full understanding about what's going on. You need to understand the dependencies between the applications. You need to understand the potentials, failure points, and risks that you're possibly taking in the project. Risk mitigation is the key word here, and that's something that we need to consider already at the early phases of the project. But the Smart PMO really helps in that sense that you can set those KPIs as also in place and track them while you move forward.
Petri, Smart PMO obviously mean that a lots of moving furnitures in the organization, obviously. And when it comes to people, I think that it's very obvious that some of the talents in the house might feel that the change that is happening is rather fast, or maybe that would affect or impact on the things that they do. Yeah. How do you usually tackle when it comes to people in the organization?
It really comes down to the change management, and it comes down to the understanding the cloud transformation from the people perspective, how they reflect on the change, and actually empower the people to really understand what's going on. Like in the traditional setup, there's a lot of unknowns. People are running projects without actually fully understanding what it is about, what they are really doing.
Yeah.
What's the other guy who is sitting in the room actually doing? And this creates uncertainty, and perhaps even some negative thoughts around the organization about how the project is going if you don't really have full understanding about it. So with Smart PMO, we try to reduce all that friction and really make people comfortable that this is right way to go forward and we are doing the right thing.
So you would say that communication is really one of the key important element to all this, to make sure that whatever change you're making to happen is well communicated in all the levels in the organization.
Exactly. Yeah, and you get the full transparency, real-time analytics, real-time understanding about how your project is doing. Are you on time? Do you have enough people? All that.
Thank you, Petri, for showing us how Smart PMO can lay the ground for successful cloud transition. So I believe that you have a window of opportunity to grab, but how is your next outlook looks like?
Yeah, I think I will go out and play some paddle now, have some fun, relax.
All right.
And tomorrow we get to work and focus on our customers.
I think that's very important to keep the work and life balance. Thanks for joining us today, and we'd like to see you next time then. That was it for today. Next time, we're going to dig deep on cloud transition. Please join us then in our next episode of CloudStream. Till then, it's a goodbye.